Hello everyone, welcome back to another Yin Yoga class. If it's your first time here, my name is Katie, and on this channel I focus on Yin Yoga. And I'm especially happy to share this class with you today because it is the first class in a series of 1-hour Yin Yoga classes where I'm inviting you to come once a week, do an hour of Yin, and together we're going to aim to create some peaceful moments through the practice of Yin Yoga. So if you're not familiar with that series, if you'd like to know more, there is some more information in the description of this video. For this first class, you will need some yoga blocks. One is fine if you only have one. Two might be a little bit better. And then you'll also need a strap or a belt of some kind. If you're ready to begin, you can just find a nice comfortable way to sit on your mat. You can always, that came out weird, sit on your mat. You can always sit on a cushion or a yoga block. And we're going to start each of these classes with a breathing exercise just to help us to let go of that outside world and just arrive to our yoga mat. So once you feel comfortable, you might close your eyes. Take a moment to lift your heart up towards your brain. Drop your brain slightly towards your heart. Relax your jaw. And just see if you can become even 1% more relaxed in this position. First, just notice your breath without changing it. You're just witnessing it coming in and out of your body. Before we begin this practice, you might ask yourself, why are you practicing? What really motivated you to come here and sit on your yoga mat? Once you have established your why, just let it sink in. At the end of class, if you feel comfortable doing so, you're very welcome to leave your why in the comments so we can share and learn each other's whys. We'll move into a very simple breathing exercise. It's called 4-8 breathing, where we're breathing in for the count of 4 and breathing out for the count of 8. And if that count makes you feel uncomfortable, you're welcome to change it to something that works for you. The only aim here is to make the exhalation longer than the inhalation. So let's start together by breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in and breathe out. And keep going for the next 2 minutes at your own count. if your mind has become distracted and if you've even forgotten about the count, don't worry, that is totally normal. Just take this opportunity to come back to counting your breath, witnessing it coming in and out. And we'll be here for about 1 more minute. Once you have completely exhaled, you can return to a normal breath. And perhaps keeping your eyes closed, you might just stay here and just observe what is different within your breath, within your energy. And as we go through this yin yoga practice today, a lot of different things might come up. And I'd like to just invite you to have an opinionless recognition of those emotions or of those thoughts. Try not to label anything as good or bad. It just is what it is. So with that being said, you can quietly open your eyes again. And we'll make our way into our first yin yoga pose, which is child's pose. You can come into whichever version of child's pose works best for you. Knees can be close together or they can be wider apart. You can rest your hips onto a yoga block or a cushion. And then we'll bring our forehead towards the mat, either resting again on a prop or maybe onto your hands. And if you're not using your hands, they can come to rest next to your feet with your palms facing up. And we'll stay in child's pose for 5 minutes. And we'll bring some awareness back into the breath. Once again, just observing it coming in and out. And the longer we stay here and the more still that we are, your body will start to present different sensations to you. Ones which it doesn't normally get a chance to show you because we're often moving and talking and doing other things. So for now, just notice where you feel this pose the most. And then see if you can take your awareness just a 1 layer deeper into that sensation. Take about 3 more breaths here in child's pose. And when you're ready, you can pull yourself slowly back up onto all fours. Our next pose is Anahatasana. So we'll have our knees on the mat. If they feel sensitive, you can fold over your mat to give your knees a little bit of extra padding. And then we'll reach our hands towards the front of the mat, keeping your hips over your knees as best you can. Start to melt your chest and forehead down to the mat. Anahatasana helps to open up your chest, soften your heart, and it creates a really nice stretch for your upper back. And we'll stay here for 3 minutes. If this pose feels too intense, you can bring a bend into your elbows and just bring your hands back closer to you. Let's find our breath now wherever it is in your body. Anchor some of your awareness to the sensations that you're feeling. Be the witness of 3 more big breaths for this pose. And when you're ready, you can very slowly come to lie on the front of your body. And it might take your body a while to respond to that request, and that's okay. Once you are on your belly, you can just rest there in whatever way feels best for you. Maybe finding crocodile pose, bringing your big toes together, heels relaxing towards the edges of your mat. And then just feeling the echo of the poses you've practiced so far. Now we'll make our way into Sphinx pose. So you can bring your forearms onto the mat in front of you. Take a moment to measure the ideal distance by clasping opposite elbows with your hands. Your elbows will aim to stay this distance apart as you bring your forearms back onto the mat. Feet can be a little bit wider than hip width distance apart if that feels comfortable. And if this pose feels too intense, you can bring your elbows further away from you. You might gaze straight out in front, or you can drop your head to gaze diagonally down. We'll be here in Sphinx pose for the next 3 minutes. Observing that space that is within your chest now. Maybe feeling the lengthening of your spine. Or you might be called more to that gentle compression within your lower back. Take 3 more breaths in Sphinx. And then you can bring yourself back down onto the mat, lying once again on the front of your body. You might come into crocodile pose, or you can take a prayer position with your hands, placing your hands onto your mat. And then you'll see that your thumbs have created a little hammock that your forehead can rest into. Very gently, just stimulating that third eye. Resting here as the body digests. Sphinx pose will stay for 1 minute. Wherever you are now, you can bring your left hand towards the top left corner of your mat and then gently roll onto your left hip. And we'll shrug this left shoulder up towards the left ear. Your right foot can be out in front for more stability, or it might feel more comfortable just stacked on top of the left. We're going to stay here just for a few breaths, helping to stretch through the left rib cage. Noticing all of those tiny intercostal muscles that are starting to open up now. Opening up this cage that your heart is in. You can slowly roll back down onto the front of your body. Once again, setting ourselves up for Sphinx pose. If you would like to go a little bit deeper, this time you can come into seal pose, bringing your hands back next to your chest and then lifting your torso up until your arms are straight-ish. We'll be here for the next 2 minutes. If you're in seal, you might point all of your fingers away from you. Maybe widen out your hands to about mat with distance apart. You can gaze straight out in front, or to take a deeper stretch, you can look diagonally up. Remember, wherever you are, nothing is good or bad, right or wrong. Whatever you're feeling is whatever you're feeling. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And now you can peel yourself slowly back down into crocodile pose. Or maybe bringing your hands back into prayer position and resting your third eye onto your thumbs. We'll stretch out our cage on the opposite side now. So you can bring your right hand towards the right top corner of your mat. Roll over onto your right hips, or hip rather. Straighten out your right arm if that's comfortable, and then shrug your right shoulder up towards your right ear. The deeper you can breathe in, the more of a stretch you might feel. And for the last 3 breaths, imagine your breath is like a flashlight shining amongst these intercostal muscles. And the more you can touch each muscle with your breath or with the light, the more you can open it up. And when you're ready, you can roll back down onto the front of your body. And we'll just take a few breaths in crocodile pose. You can make your way back up to sit on your mat. Our next pose is a yogi squat. So you can use a yoga block in underneath or a cushion if you need, using it as a kind of stool to support you in the pose. So to come into a squat, you can bring your feet onto the mat, having your toes pointed away from you, and then lower your hips back down. Elbows can come in between the knees, and then your hands might find prayer position. Now, if your heels are up off of the mat, that's totally normal. Don't worry too much about it. We'll be here for 2 minutes. So you can stay in this traditional squat, or you might walk your hands as far out in front of you as is comfortable, and then drop your head, rounding your neck and spine. And if you need a prop for this pose, it doesn't make you a bad person. Just grab that block, put it in underneath. Nothing is right or wrong. Connect to your breath. Feel each sensation one layer at a time. And if any thoughts are coming into your awareness, just say, I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to come back to my breath and back to my body. take one more breath in squat if you can. And then when you're ready, you can slowly bring yourself back down to the ground, finding whatever way is most comfortable to sit. And we'll just find a little bit of stillness there, maybe closing the eyes again. Feeling the reverberation of squat all throughout your body now. And slowly opening up the eyes again. You can make your way to lie on your back, and for the next few poses we will be using our props, so make sure that they are somewhere you can reach them. First, taking a moment in corpse pose, allowing your arms and legs to spread wide if they want to. Tucking your chin towards your chest and finding your breath. We'll come into supported bridge pose now by bending the knees, having the soles of the feet on the mat. From here you can lift your hips and place a yoga block in underneath. Remember, the yoga block has different settings. It can be low, it can be medium. And if you want to go deeper into this pose, you can have 2 yoga blocks in underneath. So take plenty of time to adjust the props, fidget, make sure they're really comfortable. And then we'll settle into the pose for the next 3 minutes. Elevating the hips encourages the blood flow to the brain, having a really calming effect on your mind. But of course, the mind might still like to engage in thinking. So this pose is a really good opportunity to just practice closing the door on those thoughts. As they pop in, you just pop your awareness back out to your body or onto your breath. option to go a little bit deeper into this pose by straightening out your legs, walking your feet further away from you. We've arrived to the last 3 breaths of this pose. Really savor each one. And we'll reverse very slowly out of the pose. If you're using 2 yoga blocks, you might just remove one for now. And then when it feels comfortable to do so, you can remove the other block and bring your spine back down to the ground. You might be craving to just lay your body flat on the ground, or you might want to round your spine again by bringing your knees towards your chest, giving yourself a little hug here. Just do whatever you need to do to release the pose. Our next pose is supported fish. So you might just sit yourself onto your mat for a moment. Take a block and put it in behind you. So it's going to be underneath your chest, roughly around your shoulder blades. And then you may or may not want a second yoga block to support your head. If you don't have a second yoga block, you can always use a cushion. And then to come into the pose, we're going to roll our spine back down over this block, roughly aligning the edge of the block with the bottom of your shoulder blades. And then you're aiming to point your chin up towards the sky so you could really open up through your throat. Arms and legs can spread wide if they feel called to do that. And here in supported fish, we're just going to allow the body to melt over this block for the next 2 minutes. You're opening up your lungs, allowing yourself to take in more oxygen, and then let out more stale air. Before we move on, you might take a moment to loosen your jaw. Relax your face. See if you can become even 1% more relaxed in your body. And from this deeper layer of relaxation, take 3 more breaths. When you're ready to come out of the pose, you can tuck your chin towards your chest. Slowly peel yourself off of your blocks. You can remove them to the side. And then bring your spine back down to the ground, finding corpse pose. Our last yin yoga pose for this practice is going to be a hamstring reclined twist. So this is where you'll need your strap or your belt. You can wrap it around your right foot. And then try to keep your right leg relatively straight. Hold the strap in your right arm, also aiming to keep it straight. And we're going to stay here for about 1 minute. Really feeling that hamstring opening up. See if you can bring your awareness into your hamstring. Don't forget to breathe. Now you can hold the strap with your left hand, release your right hand now, let it unfurl on the ground. And you can bring your leg over towards the left side of your mat. Try to keep this right leg straight, but don't worry too much about how low it is or how far over it's going. Now starting to feel that sensation within your right glute. And if you want to incorporate a reclined twist here, you can stack your hips on top of each other. So you're bringing your right hip over your left and then look over to the right. We'll stay here for the next 2 minutes. If your right foot needs to come to the ground, that's fine. You can also rest it onto a yoga block for some support. And just remember, in yin yoga, there's really no right or wrong. It's all about what feels good for you. The only quote unquote wrong would be if you're feeling pain. So once again, always being aware of pain within the body, respecting its limitations and coming back when needed. Whichever sensation is speaking to you the loudest, send your last 3 breaths there. And then we'll make our way back to center, unraveling the pose. We'll repeat on the opposite side by wrapping the strap around your left foot, holding it in your left hand, and trying to keep both arm and leg straight. We'll open up this left hamstring for the next minute. Now the right hand can take over from the left. Slowly bring your left leg over to the right. Maybe stack your hips, so now your left hip is on top. And to go deeper into the pose, you can look over to the left. And we'll stay here for 2 minutes. Savor your last 3 breaths in this pose. When you're ready, you can make your way back to center. You might be called to release the pose with some windshield wipers, just gently dropping your knees from side to side. Maybe you're craving another hug, so you can bring your knees to your chest. Or maybe you're ready to just absorb the pose in some stillness by lying in corpse pose. Whatever you need to do, just take the next moment to do it. And if you're not already there, come into corpse pose. If your lower back feels uncomfortable in corpse pose, you can keep your knees bent and let them rest against each other. Otherwise, your arms and legs can take up lots of space. Your hands and feet will tell you where they want to be. You might tuck your chin slightly towards your heart, lengthening through the back of your neck. Relax your jaw, soften your face. Aim to become 1% more relaxed. And once you've reached that depth, maybe see if you can become 1% more relaxed from there. And we're going to take the final 3 minutes of our practice to stay here in corpse, allowing the body to absorb all the benefits of the practice that you just did. And I know it might be tempting to just get up at this point, but I really encourage you to stay. You might start to wonder about the video, if it stopped, if I'm still there, but just trust that I am here with you, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. You can start to bring a little bit of awareness back to your body, making small movements. When you're ready, come to lie on the right side of your body. We'll take a moment here to recall our why. Why did you come here today to create these peaceful moments? You should be really proud of yourself that you took the time to do it. You're working towards that goal, whatever it is. So really well done for showing up. Now you can slowly bring yourself back up into a seat on your mat. So we will officially end this 1 hour Yin Yoga class here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here with me on YouTube. If you enjoyed the class, I'd really appreciate it if you leave this video a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. We'll be back soon with class 2 of this series, so don't forget to check the link in the description of this video for more information and how you can sign up to do the rest of these classes as well. I will see you again soon on the mat, but until then, take good care of yourself and goodbye.